What if I told you that there was a running back who rushed for over 7,500 career yards, scored 44 touchdowns, made 4 Pro Bowls, and was regarded as one of the most explosive and versatile players in the NFL? A guy who could change the game in an instant and was once at the top of his position, and then, just like that, he was gone. That's what happened to Jamaal Charles. One moment he was a dominant force in the NFL, and the next moment, he was out of the spotlight, almost forgotten. So how did this even happen? Where did he go? And what is he up to now? To understand the story of Jamaal Charles, we gotta go back to the beginning where this whole thing started. Jamaal Charles was born on December 27, 1986. In Port Arthur, Texas. His childhood wasn't always easy, but it became the foundation for his incredible success in sports later on. From an early age, Charles was diagnosed with a learning disability. He struggled with reading, which made school a challenge for him, and people often made fun of him because of it, which made him feel like he wouldn't amount to much. However, instead of letting these challenges hold him back, he found an unexpected source of strength in sports, particularly in football and track. Charles didn't let his learning disability stop him. In fact, he used the adversity as motivation. He excelled in the Special Olympics, an opportunity he credits with discovering his own athletic potential. At just 10 years old, he found himself competing in track and field at the Special Olympics. It was here that Charles realized just how fast he really was, something that would later define his football career. He even went on to win a gold medal in the track events, which helped boost his confidence and gave him a sense of pride. It was a turning point in his life, a moment that showed him he could overcome anything. As he grew older, Charles attended Memorial High School in Port Arthur, Texas. He quickly became a standout athlete in multiple sports, but it was the football field that truly captured his heart. During his junior year, Charles was unstoppable on the field, rushing for an incredible 2,051 yards and scoring 25 touchdowns. His performance helped lead Memorial High School to the 5A Division II quarterfinals, and he earned first-team All-State honors. His senior season was even more impressive. Charles rushed for 2,056 yards and scored another 25 touchdowns. He was not only named first-team All-State by the Texas Sport Writers Association, but he also became the District 22 5A Player of the Year. His performance in high school earned him a spot on the Parade All-American football team, one of the highest honors a high school player can receive. He was clearly a rising star. His talent didn't go unnoticed, and Charles was invited to play in the prestigious 2005 U.S. Army All-American Bowl, where the best high school athletes across the country come together to showcase their skills. Though school had been difficult for Charles, football gave him a place where he could shine. The ridicule he faced early in life seemed like a distant memory as he stood tall as one of the best young football players in the state of Texas. Along with his success in football, Jamaal Charles was a standout track athlete. During his high school years, his speed was undeniable, and he quickly made a name for himself on the track. One of his biggest achievements was winning the bronze medal in the 400-meter hurdles at the 2003 World Youth Championships. This was a significant accomplishment for a high school athlete and marked Charles as a dual-threat athlete with both speed and agility. In addition to his success on the international stage, Charles also dominated at the state level. During his senior year of high school, he claimed the Texas 5A state championships in both the 110-meter hurdles and the 300-meter hurdles, solidifying his place as one of the best track athletes in the state. These achievements in track not only demonstrated Charles' explosive speed and athleticism, but also played a role in shaping his football career. His sprinting ability and fast twitch muscles would later contribute to his impressive performances as a running back in the NFL. When Charles went to college, he didn't leave track behind. He ran for the University of Texas during his freshman year, competing in both indoor and outdoor seasons. Charles didn't just participate though, he excelled, continuing to show his speed and agility. At the NCAA 60-meter indoor track and field championships, he finished fourth, proving he could compete at the highest level. In the outdoor season, he captured the Big 12 100-meter title, tracking in at 10.23 seconds, a personal achievement that was part of a very successful year for the Longhorns. Charles didn't stop there. At the NCAA Outdoor Championships, He placed 5th in the 100 meters and 7th in the 200 meters. He also helped Texas secure a 5th place finish in the 4x100 meter relay, a strong team performance that showcased his versatility. By the end of his track career at Texas, Charles had earned 4 All-American honors: 60-meter indoor, 100-meter outdoor, 200-meter outdoor, and 4x100 meter relay. His track background gave him an edge on the football field, and it made him a faster, more agile player capable of breaking away from defenders and outrunning anyone who tried to catch him. Jamaal Charles' college football career at the University of Texas began with a bang. Right from his first season, he made an impact. As a freshman, he quickly earned a spot in the Longhorns' backfield, alongside more established players, including quarterback Vince Young. In his first collegiate game against Louisiana Lafayette, Charles showed flashes of brilliance, rushing for 135 yards and scoring a touchdown on 14 carries. It wasn't just one game. He kept up his performances throughout the season. By the end of his freshman year, Charles had accumulated 878 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns. More importantly, his performance helped Texas achieve a perfect season, culminating in a win in the Rose Bowl where they defeated UFC to claim the national championship. The 2006 season saw Charles share the backfield with Selvin Young, but he managed to put up solid numbers. He rushed for 831 yards and 7 touchdowns while also contributing as a receiver, adding 183 receiving yards and a touchdown. Despite the drop in the team's rushing production that season, Charles remained a consistent and reliable performer. His highlight came in the 2006 Alamo Bowl, where he caught a 72-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Colt McCoy. Texas won the game against Iowa, and Charles' versatility as both a runner and a receiver shined through. However, it was in 2007 that Charles truly broke out as one of the most dynamic young running backs in the country. In what would be his final season at Texas, he rushed for 1,619 yards and 18 touchdowns. His speed and breakaway ability were on full display, and he showed why he was considered one of the top running back prospects for the upcoming NFL draft. His most memorable game came against Nebraska when he ran for 290 yards, the most ever against Nebraska in a single game. Charles was a true workhorse, and his performances helped Texas maintain a strong offensive presence throughout the season. Despite a few fumbles that season which briefly threatened his playing time, Charles' ability to make big plays was undeniable. He finished the year with impressive stats, including 199 receiving yards and a remarkable 6.3 yards per carry. After his breakout season, there was little doubt about Charles' potential. Many experts predicted he would be a first-round pick in the 2008 NFL Draft. Charles' decision to leave college early and enter the NFL Draft was one that turned heads, but it made sense given his accomplishments. In just 3 seasons at Texas, Charles had rushed for 3,328 yards and scored 36 touchdowns. He ranked 4th in total rushing yards in Texas history, only behind legends like Ricky Williams, Cedric Benson, and Earl Campbell. Charles' decision to forego his senior year was one of the last steps towards his professional career, and it didn't take long for NFL teams to take notice of the speed and talent he has shown on the college football field. When Jamaal Charles entered the NFL in 2008, he was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in the 3rd round of the draft. He came into a situation where he wasn't expected to be the starter right away. Instead, Charles spent much of his rookie season behind veteran running back Larry Johnson. Charles showed glimpses of his potential despite the limited opportunities. He carried the ball 67 times for 357 yards, averaging 5.3 yards per carry, and scored 1 touchdown. His rookie season wasn't anything spectacular, but it was enough to see that he had the tools to be a breakout star in the future. One of the most notable aspects of Charles' game early on was his ability to make an impact, not just as a runner, but also as a receiver. He caught 27 passes for 272 yards, showing that he could be a dual threat back. This was an important skill that would later define his style of play in the years to come. As a rookie, Charles proved that he could be a valuable asset even if he wasn't getting the starting job just yet. The 2009 season was a turning point for Charles. Larry Johnson, once the Chiefs' star running back, was released mid-season, and Charles was promoted to the starting role. This was his chance to prove that he could carry the load as the primary back, and carry it he did. In 2009, Charles had a standout season, Despite not starting every game, he finished the year with 1,120 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. He averaged a remarkable 5.9 yards per carry, which was far above the league average. His big playability was evident throughout the season, and he quickly gained recognition as one of the most explosive running backs in the league. Charles also contributed in the passing game, catching another 14 passes for 120 yards, which further showcased his versatility as a back who could do more than just run the football. This breakout year solidified Charles as one of the league's top running backs and gave fans a taste of what was to come in the future. His ability to find holes, make defenders miss with his speed and agility was becoming his signature. If the 2009 season was the year Jamaal Charles proved himself as a capable starting running back, 2010 was the year he truly exploded onto the national scene. He rushed for a career-high 1,467 yards, averaging an eye-popping 6.4 yards per carry, the second highest average in NFL history for a running back. He scored 5 rushing touchdowns and earned his first Pro Bowl selection. Charles was absolutely electric in 2010, turning every carry into a potential game-changing play. What made Charles so effective was his rare combination of speed, vision, and elusiveness. His ability to hit holes at full speed and then break away from defenders was second to none. He didn't need many touches to rack up significant yardage. His performance that season also helped the Chiefs make a playoff appearance, marking their first division title in years. One of his most memorable performances of 2010 came in Week 9 against the Buffalo Bills. He ran for 177 yards on 22 carries and scored a touchdown. His speed was on full display, and the Bills had no answer for him. Throughout the season, Charles was the focal point of the Chiefs' offense, and his ability to dominate on the ground made him one of the most feared running backs in the league. However, in 2011, Charles suffered a significant setback. In Week 2 of the season, he tore his ACL while playing against the Detroit Lions, which ended his season prematurely. The injury was a tough blow for Charles, who had become one of the NFL's most dangerous running backs. The injury placed him on injury reserve, and he was forced to sit out the rest of the year. It was a painful setback, but it didn't end his career. Instead, he set the stage for his return and further cemented his reputation as one of the league's most resilient players. Charles made a remarkable recovery from his ACL injury in 2012 and came back stronger. In what was one of the most impressive comebacks in recent NFL history, Charles rushed for 1,509 yards, proving that the injury had not slowed him down. His ability to recover and perform at such a high level was a testament to his work ethic and determination. In 2012, Charles was once again one of the most dominant running backs in the NFL. He also showed that he could still contribute in the passing game, catching 35 passes for 236 yards. One of the highlights of his season came in Week 3 against the New Orleans Saints. In that game, Charles ran for 233 yards and a touchdown, showing off his incredible speed and burst once again. It was one of the best performances of his career and reminded everyone just how special of a player he was. The 2013 season will go down as one of the greatest in Jamaal Charles' career. He rushed for 1,287 yards and 12 touchdowns, leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns. But it wasn't just his rushing performances that stood out. It was his ability to make plays in all facets of the game. Charles caught 70 passes for 693 yards and 7 receiving touchdowns, showcasing his versatility. In total, he had nearly 2,000 yards from scrimmage and scored 19 total touchdowns. Perhaps the most memorable game of his entire career came against the Oakland Raiders in Week 15. Charles exploded for 5 touchdowns, 4 of them through the air and 1 on the ground, setting a new franchise record for the most touchdowns in a single game. It was one of the most dominant individual performances in NFL history, and Charles was rightfully named AFC Offensive Player of the Week for his efforts. The 2013 season also marked Charles' second first-team All-Pro selection, and he was named to his second Pro Bowl. He was now firmly established as one of the best running backs in the entire NFL, if not the best. And his unique ability to contribute both on the ground. In 2014, Jamaal Charles continued to prove that he was one of the league's most elite running backs. Despite dealing with minor injuries, He finished with 1,033 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. He also had 40 receptions for 291 yards and 5 touchdowns. Once again, Charles was a vital part of the Chiefs' offense and helped them reach the playoffs. Charles also made his 3rd consecutive Pro Bowl appearance in 2014, solidifying his place among the NFL's best. His ability to stay productive and dominate despite injuries was a testament of his resilience and skill. He was the focal point of the Chiefs' offense, and the team relied on his playmaking ability to keep them competitive. However, injuries continued to be an issue for Charles in 2015 and 2016. After tearing his ACL in 2011, he had to battle through more knee issues in the following years. In 2015, Charles played in only 5 games due to another knee injury, and his performance was limited. However, he still showed flashes of his old self, rushing for 364 yards and 4 touchdowns in limited action. In 2016, Charles returned to the Chiefs, but his knee was still not fully healed. He played in just 3 games that season with limited production, and it was clear that the injuries were taking a toll on his body. After another setback, the Chiefs placed Charles on injury reserve. In 2017, Charles signed with the Denver Broncos, hoping for a fresh start. He played in a shared backfield with C.J. Anderson and Devontae Booker, but his impact was limited. Charles finished the season with just 296 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. Far from the dominant player he had been in his prime. He was still a valuable veteran presence in the locker room, but was no longer the dynamic player he once was. Charles' time with the Broncos was short, and in 2018, he joined the Jacksonville Jaguars. However, his stint with the Jaguars was brief, lasting only 2 games. He only had 6 carries for 7 yards and didn't make much of an impact on the field. It was clear that the injuries had taken a toll on his once elite speed and explosiveness. On May 1st, 2019, Jamaal Charles officially retired from the NFL after signing a 1-day contract with the Kansas City Chiefs, the team he spent the majority of his career with. His retirement was a symbolic moment, allowing him to end his career where it all started. Charles took his ceremonial last carry from none other than Patrick Mahomes. It was a fitting way to end his illustrious career, surrounded by the team that had watched him grow from a promising young back into one of the greatest running backs of his era. After retiring, Charles remained active in the football world. In 2020, he was inducted into the University of Texas Hall of Honor, a well-deserved recognition for his college achievements. In 2023, he was nominated for the Pro Bowl Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility, a sign of the lasting impact he made on the NFL. Though he was not a finalist that year, it was a testament of his career that his name was even in the conversation. Today, Charles lives a quieter life, but he still stays connected to the game. He occasionally participates in NFL draft activities and enjoys reflecting on his incredible journey from a young man facing personal challenges to a dominant NFL star. Charles' career is full of remarkable achievements and records. He holds the NFL record for the highest career yards per carry among players with at least 1,000 carries. He also set the record for the most receiving yards by a running back in a single game with 4 in 2013. In Kansas City Chiefs history, Charles holds several records, including the longest play of 91 yards, tied for career rushing yards at 7,260, and single-game rushing yards of 259 yards in 2010. Charles is a 2-time first-team All-Pro in 2010 and 2013, a 4-time Pro Bowler. He was also the NFL's rushing touchdown leader in 2013, an accolade that further highlighted his all-around skill as both a runner and a receiver. Jamaal Charles' legacy as one of the most electrifying and versatile running backs of his generation is firmly cemented despite facing injuries that slowed him down in the later parts of his career. His peak years remain unforgettable. Charles redefined the running back position with his ability to break away for long runs and his dual threat ability, both as a rusher and a receiver. His time with the Kansas City Chiefs in particular was marked by incredible performances and a consistent ability to dominate on the field. Charles will be remembered as one of the most dangerous and exciting running backs to ever play the game.